I like to say if it's hysterical, it's historical, because it just doesn't match the situation.
We all know that there's no magic answer when it comes to relationship success. There seems to be a common denominator about the families we come from and the challenges we get into in our relationships. So how does this play out, and how do our families matter in how we pick a mate?
Well, a lot of falling in love is unconscious, and the unconscious part is usually comes from our childhood. So your childhood family really makes a difference in how you relate to a partner. Mm-hmm. And you need to know yourself in the terms with the background of your family. Know what upset you there, and that's probably what's going to upset you with a partner. Mm-hmm. So, and I find that sometimes people choose someone who is like the parent they had the most problem with, actually. And there's a hope that they'll get it right this time. This time, this person will love me like I always wished mommy or daddy would love me. And it can be a growth situation if they really are conscious of it. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, it can be disaster.
A way to have a hint that it's coming from history is if it's hysterical. So if it seems like it's just completely not called for, it just seems like a complete overreaction, I like to say if it's hysterical, it's historical, because it just doesn't match the situation.
You can really literally ask couples to, at some point, talk about their parents and get them to write down the characteristics that they admired and hated. And then, of course, wait 2 or 3 weeks and get them to write down the things that they admire and hate about their spouse. And it turns out that there's a lot of similarity.
Many people really hate the idea for some reason that they are their parents, as if they're supposed to be, or they can be anybody else. And the thing is that what we know is what we've experienced, and that's really about it. So we're all those people that influenced us, the people who were very difficult, also parts of ourselves as well. We find that in neuroscience that people pair bond by familiarity. We don't pair bond with anybody strange. If they're too strange, we walk away. If they're too familiar, then we may not find them very exciting. But there's an aspect of familiarity and strangeness always in pair bonding. So the chances are that people are going to be alike, more alike than not alike, are really, really high. And I find that also it's a matter of culture in the family, not just the individuals, but does the culture put relationship first, or does it put other things first, like the self, or performance, or appearance? And that's what I see as guiding people in terms of how they come out of that culture and the culture that they bring into their relationship currently that causes trouble sometimes.
Quietness or the loudness of the family, the expressiveness or the lack of expressiveness, all those things that add to the culture of the family are really important.
Styles. But even those styles are tolerable if both people currently operate in a way that is fair and just and sensitive. But so many family cultures operate in a system that's too unfair, too unjust, and too insensitive. And that's what I see quite a bit, are people coming from those backgrounds and expecting it to work.
If you want to make your spouse mad, saying, you're being just like your mother.
Yeah, that's really going to work, isn't it?
If you catch yourself doing that, it's really helpful to use the computer of your mind to sort. Really sit down and write down how your partner is the same and how your partner is different, because that will help you get clear that it's not just like the other person was.
Well, also, don't you think we're responsible for the crimes of the past in our partner? That for me to say, hey, that's not me, that's your mother, that's your father, is a little bit rude, right? Because when I marry you, I adopt you, I take you on as my burden, and that includes your past. So if I say, well, that's not me, take it up with someone else, that someone else either isn't on the planet anymore, but also I'm outsourcing it when really I'm the person to repair that or take care of that.
I think it's important information for the purpose of having some empathy and working with your partner, rather than using it to point your finger at them and say, hey, that's about mom or dad, and your mom or dad, and it has nothing to do with me. So it's meant really to bring a couple closer together and to create connection rather than distance.
So it sounds like the families that we come from are really powerful translators to what's really going on inside of us as we pick our partner. And it doesn't need to prevent us, if we don't understand our family of origin or where we come from getting in a relationship, but it will give us the tools to be able to understand with compassion, care, and curiosity what's going on in our relationship right now to make it even better.